Good morning, students. My name is GVR Lakshman Rao, lecturer in mining engineering, Government Polytechnic, Bellampalli. Today, we are going to learn permitted explosives and classification of permitted explosives. In the last chapter, in the last class, we discussed properties of various high explosives. Just one topic we left is powder explosives. Yesterday we discussed various high explosives and its properties like Ng based, ammonium nitrate, nitroglycerin, TNT, like that. The another one is powder explosives. Powder explosives. These explosives are non-nitroglycerin based explosives. In these explosives, you cannot find any nitroglycerin. Nitroglycerin is a paste-like matter. So, if the nitroglycerin is present, the explosives will not be available in the form of powder. So that's why the explosives which are available in the form of powder is non-nitroglycerin based explosives. Nitroglycerin explosives, these are obtained by decomposition of fats and oils. If the glycerin or glycol is reacted with the fats and oils, then the nitroglycerin will come. So the nitroglycerin explosives will not be in the shape of powder. So all powder explosives are not belongs to nitroglycerin based explosives. These are ammonium based explosives, just like ammonium nitrate. These are low density explosives with relatively high strength. Try to imagine the porosity of material is more if it is in the form of powder. If it is in the form of solid, what happens? The matter present for unit value or unit area is more. Their density is equal to mass by volume. If the volume is lessened or the mass is more, the density of the explosive will be more in these two conditions. If in a particular area the mass is more, then the density of an explosive will be more. Or if the mass is constant, then the volume of the explosive is less, then the density of the explosive will be more. What happens if anything is less than 1 density? We can calculate the density of anything with respect to density of water. Density of water is 1. The materials which are having less than 1 will float on the surface of water. If it is more than 1, what happens? The drowning of material will take place. So, the explosives which are available in the form of powder will come under low density explosives. There are two types of explosives are there regarding density. One is high density explosives, another one is low density explosives. If the density of explosive is more, then we call it as high density explosive. If it is less, then we call it as low density explosive. All low density explosives are float on the surface of the water. All high density explosives, they drown into the water. If we put the material on the surface of the water, it goes down. Okay, so all the powdery explosives are having low density. In case of the holes are having water, while blasting, it is very much necessary to make one hole by drilling the hole. If the drilled hole is having some water is accumulated in the drill hole, what happens? If you put the explosive in the watery hole, if the density of an explosive is very less, it will float on the water. If the density of explosive is more, then the explosive will go or will reach the bottom of the hole. So, because of the powderiness of explosives, the explosives are, because of the powdery state of explosives, the explosives comes under low density explosives. These are affected by water, because if the explosive is in the form of powder, what happens is it is in the form of grains. Powder is nothing but a small grains. If they are come together, there will be a empty space will be there. Empty space will be there. If the moisture is or water is present nearby it, the sucking of water or entering of water takes place into the empty or porosity there. So these are affected by water. If we store one powder, if some of the water is present or moisture is present in the air, it will become a like the soaking of or absorption of water takes place. Like that, the powdery explosives affected by water. So explosives are used in moderately dry condition. If the water is present in the holes, we cannot use powdery form of explosives if the density, unless and otherwise the powder is manufactured or compacted into polythene bags. First of all, in some modern days, in watery holes, the powder is loaded. Loading of powder will take place in the polythene bags, and then the polythene bags will be dipped into the water. So, in general, the powdery form of explosives are used in moderately watery areas or moderately dry conditions. 100% dryness is not possible in mines because dripping of water takes place, because when we go into the earth, if you goes on, the depth increases, the seepage of water, increasing of seepage of water will take place. So complete dryness is not possible. In powder explosives, the velocity of detonation is 2500 meters per second, but the temperature on detonation is 1150 degrees centigrade. These explosives are insensitive to detonation. Generally, powdery form of explosives are used by or detonated by, not with the help of detonator. A booster is used to detonate the powdery form of explosives like ammonium nitrate. In almost all open cast mines, the detonation takes place with the help of boosters only, not in the form of detonators. But there is a simple logic is there, but the booster is detonated by a detonator, but one booster is enough to detonate more than 5 to 6 holes. So every hole is need not to insert one detonator. Okay, I will tell about this in the initiators blasting practice. So the velocity of detonation in powdery explosives is, when compared with all other high explosives, somewhat it is less. In high explosives, it is nearly 4500 meters per second. The velocity of detonation is 5000 meters per second also there. But whereas in this powdery form of explosives, it is 2500 meters per second only, but the temperature on detonation is 1150 degrees centigrade, nearly 2000 to 3100 degrees centigrade also arrive during explosion of high explosives. So these powdery form of explosives are exploded by means of a booster, not by a detonator. So hence strong primary charge is required for blasting. Primer charge, what is primer charge will I will tell in the next class or whenever it comes. So strong primary charge is required for blasting, otherwise it will not blast. In the high explosives, high explosives, nitroglycerin, dynamite, ammonium nitrate, all are discussed. Generally, the frequently asked questions regarding high explosives is write about the following explosives: nitroglycerin, ammonium nitrate, dynamite, blasting gelatin, special gelatin or polar special gelatin, open cast gelatin, powdery explosives. These are the probable questions that may arrive during your examinations. Okay, this is about the powder explosives. With this, all properties of explosives are completed. The another important one is on completion of this period, you would be able to know the various permitted explosives, classification, tests, applicability, and precautions while using. If possible, I will complete in this class. If time not permits, in the next class also. Next class I will cover all these topics. Okay, what we learned in the what we discussed in the characteristics of explosives is I hope you remember well. Every engineering material must have some characteristics based upon its work what we are expecting. Strength is necessary. The various characteristics of explosives is strength, density, stability, velocity of detonation, water resistance, sensitivity, oxygen supply or oxygen balance, legal permission. If anybody can manufacture the explosives, this is very simple. If you see any type of material, if it is converted instantaneously into huge volume of gases, it will act as an explosive. Already we discussed in the previous class. Even sugar is also usable as an explosive. Even sugar, the sugar what we are eating in the kitchen, I am not joking, what I am saying is 100% correct. Not only sugar, any cellulose compound or organic matter is having the required constituents, the like combustible material, oxygen supplier, sensitizer, coolant, stabilizer, like that. So as all are aware that whenever the explosion takes place, huge volume of gas will come after burning the material, explosive material. or after converting the explosive material, this conversion will take place due to the burning of explosive or matter. Are you catching my point? So, any explosive will involve burning. Any explosion of explosive after the involvement of burning, because the conversion process from solid to gases instantaneously or detonation is burning process. For this, high temperature will come. But particularly in mines, so in the characteristics of explosive, there is a character is called legal permission. So for preparation of explosives, somebody has to be given permission. So any explosive must have a legal permission. Then only it will be called as permitted explosive. Permitted explosive. Why it is necessary? I will tell. A permitted explosive is one which has been subjected to stringent tests by CMRS and found to be incapable of igniting the fire damp or coal dust when used in charge up to a specified weight. A permitted explosive is one which has been subjected to stringent tests by CMRS and found to be incapable of igniting fire damp or coal dust when used in charges up to a specified weight. CMRS, its full form is Coal Mine Research Station. Coal Mine Research Station is a government organization which is it is its primary object is doing research regarding coal. This organization will do the research and give permission after stringent tests like gas test and coal dust test. As already I started topic before this definition is explosion is a burning process. If it burns, what happens? If it burns, what happens? If the burning material, the burning temperature, it burns for a long time. What happens? The material which is present surrounding to the burning material also burns. For this reason, the flame must be last after burning immediately. Immediately after burning completion, of explosive, the flame must be lasted. For this, I will tell one example for this. In the stove, gas stove, some of the crackers for Deepavali. In Deepavali, we burn some crackers. If you put the cracker in the flame, it will not burn for some extent. After 30, 20 or 30 seconds, it starts burning, especially Diwali crackers. What happens is, if anything, any material, to burning any material, attaining of burning temperature is required. Attaining of burning temperature is required. Suppose a plastic material is there, its burning temperature is 600 degrees centigrade. Suppose if that burning temperature of the plastic material is 600 degrees centigrade, if you supply the 600 degrees centigrade to it, then only it burns. Until that, it absorbs the temperature and it accumulates the temperature. Like that, CMRS will conduct before giving the permission, will conduct a stringent test regarding igniting of fire damp and coal dust. When used a specified weight of charge, if the hole is filled with 30 grams or 565 grams or some number will be there, after using that much amount of explosive, also after completion of explosion, it should not be ignited in the surrounding atmosphere gases as well as coal dust present in it. Those are called permitted explosive. A permitted explosive is one which has been subjected to stringent test by CMRS and found to be incapable of igniting fire damp or coal dust when used in charge up to a specified weight. Then only the explosive will be called as permitted explosive. Each cartridge of permitted explosive is contained in a wrapper clearly marked with the letter P. This is the cartridge. You cannot see the permitted P, letter P. Now, actually, it is in the form, all permitted explosives are in the form of cartridges. Cartridges are nothing but making the explosive with a wrapper like this. This is called permitted explosion. Each explosive Each cartridge of permitted explosive is contained in a wrapper clearly marked with the letter P. A letter P will be there on the cartridge. If it is a permitted explosive, it must have a letter P on the wrapper. In Singareni race, solid explosives are used in underground mines. Its wrapper is in the form of in white or yellow color. At the center, a letter P is marked. Permitted explosives are permitted to be used in gassy mines of any degree. Only permitted explosives are permitted in gassy mines. Almost all mines in India are gassy mines. It may be first or second or third degree, but there are no non-gassy mines in India. Every mine is a gassy mine, though it may be first or second or third degree. So all mines, the explosives used in every mine in India must be a permitted one. The normal charge of explosive used in test is 794 grams of high density high explosive or 510 grams of low density high explosive. For conducting the test, the charge or the weight of explosive used is, if it is high explosive, high density high explosive, 794 grams are required. If it is low density high explosives, 510 grams are used. For test purpose, whether it has to be given permission or it has to be granted permission to use in mines, gassy mines. A stringent the test, while conducting a test, the specified weight of an explosive is 794 grams in case of high density high explosive, 510 grams in case of low density high explosives. This is about permitted explosives. The classification of permitted explosives is like this. These are categorized in groups. The group to which the cartridge of explosive belongs is printed on the wrapper of the cartridge. There are 5 types of explosives are there. 5 types of explosives are there. This letter will be marked on the which type of explosive is used. The letter P is marked at the center of the explosive cartridge, and under 5 types of classifications, the letter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as suffix. The P letter is having suffix. P1 type, unsheathed explosives such as Ajax G, Viking Z, Gordon slurry. Ajax G, Viking G, Gordon slurry. These are come under P1 type unsheathed explosives. P2 type are sheathed explosives. P2 type sheathed explosives. P3 type equivalent sheathed explosives. P3 type is equivalent sheathed explosives. Unisex G, permidine. These are the three types of explosives, the P3 type of explosives. P4 ultra safe explosives, not permitted in India. Carbel, Nobel explosives 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 used for delay firing. The P5 type explosives are Soligex explosives. These are used off the solid blasting. These are also called off the solid blasting explosives. In India, solid blasting is a different concept. I will tell in blasting practice. So, for using solid blasting, half the solid blasting P5 type Soligex type explosives are used. Tests for permitted explosives. As per Mines Act, any explosive to be used in gassy mine should pass through two tests to be authorized as permitted explosives. Already we discussed in the previous topic. A permitted explosive, CMRS will give the permission after conducting or subjected to stringent tests. For giving the permission, test results are necessary. These tests are coal dust test and gas test. These tests are coal dust test and gas test. In coal dust test, a normal charge of explosive is placed in a short hole and stemmed. Generally, the holes are drilled with the coal cutting machine, coal drill. The charge means the cartridge of explosives are placed in the hole and it will be stemmed. Stemming will be done by clay pills. Generally in coal, clay pills are used for stemming purposes. The hole is tightened with by putting clay pills, and these clay pills will be tapped with the stemming rod. Thereby the entire place, it has sufficient strength. The explosive charge will not come out, because if the stemming material is having sufficient strength, it will not come out, the charge. Normal charge of explosive is placed in the hole and stemming will be done by clay pills. Generally clay pills are manufactured in the coal mines area by the company. Generally 1:3 clay and sand is used for manufacturing the clay pills. It is fired in coal dust having the specifications. It is fired in a coal dust having the specifications that volatile matter content in coal dust is 36% and 80% of coal dust shall pass through the 20 mesh sieve. When shot is fired, there shall be no ignition of coal dust. In this test, what happens is, it is fired in coal dust having the specifications that volatile matter content in coal dust is 36% and 80% of coal dust shall pass through 200 mesh sieve. When shot is fired, there shall not be no ignition of coal dust. Here one test is conducted. They are conducting the test, its specifications. The explosive charge is exploded wherever the coal dust is present. It's the coal dust must have 36% of volatile matter and 80% of coal dust. In the coal dust also, the fineness of the coal dust must pass 200 mesh sieve. Everybody knows about what is sieve, but it has one number. What it indicates, that can anybody know? 200 sieve means, what is 200 sieve? Sieve is having holes, everybody knows about it. The number will come in 1 square inch. The sieve is having 200 holes. Then only it will be called as 200 mesh in 1 square inch. If the number of holes present is 200, then the sieve will be called as 200 mesh. So the 80% of the coal dust must be passed through the 200 sieve. At the same time, the coal dust must have 36% of volatile matter. Do you know what is volatile matter? The matter which turns or which converts into gaseous state is called volatile matter. During the formation, leaves and organic soft material present in the plants, flowers, leaves, these will convert into volatile matter. The dust must have 36% of volatile matter. At the same time, the dust fineness %80 of the dust must pass through the sieve of 200 sieve. This is the prerequisite thing. If even this type of dust is in these specifications, dust must be present. In this dust, even explosion takes place or explosion conducted, the dust should not catch the fire. Then only the explosive will be given permission by CMRS. This is one type of test. The another one is, this is one test. The another test is a A normal charge of explosion is placed in a short hole and stemmed, and unstemmed short hole is fired. A normal charge of explosion is placed in a short hole. A stemmed and unstemmed short hole is fired in the air containing 9.8% of methane gas. Generally, after completion of hole, the charge is placed. Stemming will be done. In this test, one hole is exploded without stemming the hole. Without stemming the hole, in case of if the stemming is not conducted by us, what happens? The explosive what we inserted into the hole will come out through the hole outside of the hole. It will come into the atmosphere without doing any work. So what happens is the burning explosive will come out. In that area, the CH4% must be 9.8%. At 9 point, the inflammable limits of CH4 is 5.4 to 14.8. At 9.8, maximum explosion takes place. Because of that reason, the entire surrounding atmosphere must have 9.8% of CH4. If the charge of explosive is not capable to ignite methane gas air mixture, an explosive is notified as permitted explosive. When the standard charge of explosive is not capable to ignite coal dust and methane air mixture under above two tests. Okay, these two tests are conducted by CMRS. Then only they will give permission to the explosive companies or permitted explosives. These explosives are written as IPI. The permitted explosives have very short duration of flame. The flame duration in less than 1/1000 second. The flame produced by an explosive must last. The flame produced by an explosive must last 1/1000th second of time. Otherwise, if the duration of flame is more than 1/1000 second or some time, still the flame takes place after explosion conducted. The temperature present in the flame will supply or some amount of temperature is transmitted from the flame to the surrounding atmosphere, either dust or gas. Generally, CH4 burning temperature is 650 degrees centigrade. The burning temperature of CH4 is 650 degrees centigrade. It starts burning after acquiring 650 degrees centigrade only. If the flame produced by an explosive, if it lasts in 1/1000 second, what happens is the temperature will not transfer from the explosive to the gas or coal dust present in it, in the surrounding atmosphere. So duration of flame lasting is very much important factor. After conducting this is also an important factor. Okay, then only if the explosive is having this type of characteristics or qualities, then only the explosives will be given permission. Those the permission given explosives are called permitted explosives. These are the tests to be conducted before giving the permission to any explosive. Okay, thank you.